You ever stop and think about this one? It's one of those huge questions in theology. How can God be totally in charge, 100% sovereign, but at the same time, we have real freedom to make our own choices? It feels like a total paradox, right? Well, that's exactly what we're going to try and unpack in this explainer.
And just so you know, this whole breakdown is compiled from the amazing research of Happy Akande, who has done a great job laying out the pieces for us.
I mean, it really does feel like a contradiction, doesn't it? If God is all-powerful, if he's the ultimate author of, well, everything, then how can we, the characters in his story, have the actual freedom to resist him, to go off script? That's the core tension we're diving into. Can these two things really exist at the same time?
Okay, so first things first, let's establish if this idea of humans actually resisting God is even a thing in the Bible. And spoiler alert, it absolutely is. The texts are packed with examples of people genuinely pushing back. This is what we're going to call thelema, which is basically the Greek word for human will or desire.
Just look at this verse. It's almost heartbreaking, right? You can feel the emotion. Jesus says, "How often I would have gathered you." That's a clear desire, a real wish. And what's the response? "And ye would not." A flat-out refusal. This isn't some puppet master pulling the strings to make it look like a choice. This is a real, genuine invitation being met with a real, genuine rejection.
So, to put it simply, they refused his protection. The key word there is refused. It's an active choice. This wasn't just them being apathetic or forgetting. It was a deliberate, conscious no thank you.
And this wasn't just a one-off thing, not by a long shot. Here in the book of Acts, Stephen calls it out as a pattern, a generational thing even. He says, "As your fathers did, so do ye." It's a consistent story of humanity pushing back against the divine.
And here's another one, and this one really spells out the consequences. The text says the Pharisees and lawyers rejected God's counsel, wait for it, against themselves. Their no had real, personal, and negative consequences for them. Okay, so I think we've established it. Humans can and do say no to God. But that brings us right back to the big question. What does an all-powerful God do with all those no's?
Right, so this brings us to God's sovereign response. This is where the other side of the paradox comes in. If people have this genuine freedom to resist, how does that not completely mess up God's plan? I mean, how does an all-powerful God handle that rejection? Well, here's the fascinating part. It doesn't derail his plan at all. Okay, this table is where the magic happens. This is where it all starts to click. On the left, you see these clear instances of human rejection, right? People say no. But then, look at the right column. In every single case, God's sovereign response weaves that no right into his bigger plan. The people reject God as king.